In a world full of change, stress, and constant pursuit of success, Buddhist philosophy sounds like a quiet but very wise voice. It does not require you to take your word for it. It does not build rigid dogmas. She suggests a way, a path that begins with a simple understanding of life as it is. Today, I will talk about 5 simple but profound ideas of Buddhism. And if you let at least one of them into your life, everything around you will begin to change gently, without strain, for real. So, the first idea: everything is not permanent. The Buddha compared me to a cloud that is constantly changing. The cloud doesn't stay the same. It takes on different shapes and moves across the sky. But despite the changes, it is still a cloud. So we change. But in this process, we remain ourselves only in new forms. The Buddha spoke of impermanence as the fundamental law of existence. Nothing stays the same. Not the people, not our feelings, not the events around us. Everything is constantly being born, changing, and dying. We suffer when we forget about it, when we become attached to happiness as if it should last forever, when we are afraid of losses as if we can hold on to everything that is dear. But the truth is, we can't stop the passage of time. We can't freeze a happy moment and live in it forever. And if we begin to understand this with our hearts, and not just with our minds, we will let go of our fears and learn to live easier. Remember your childhood, those moments of joy, resentment, and dreams that seemed so huge are now memories. So it will be with today's difficulties. What seems like the end of the world now will become only a part of history tomorrow. He compared life to dew on the grass at dawn. She is beautiful, shining in the sun, but only for a moment. Then it disappears, leaving a slight freshness. When you accept impermanence, the desire to control everything disappears. There is an ability to enjoy every moment without fear of losing it. You stop fighting with life and start to really live. The next time you feel pain or anger, remind yourself, and it will pass. Look at this feeling like a cloud. It has come and it will go. The second idea: everything is interconnected. The Buddha taught, nothing in this world arises by itself. Everything is connected to each other by the thinnest threads of cause and effect. In simple words, you are breathing the air that the trees have produced. You eat food grown by the earth, by the rains, by the hands of many people. Your thoughts are shaped by family, society, books, events, even chance encounters. Nothing exists separately. Everything is intertwined. Buddhists call this pratitya samutpada, the interdependent arising. This means that everything in our world does not arise by chance or by itself. Everything appears, changes, and disappears for a variety of reasons. One smile, one kind phrase can change someone's day. Conversely, one rude word spoken in a hurry can create a chain of grievances that will last for weeks. We influence each other all the time, often without even noticing it. And in the same way, others influence us. The Buddha compared the world to a network, in each node which reflects all the other nodes. You pull on one corner of the net, and the vibration goes all over the canvas. Why is this important? When we understand the interconnectedness of all things, compassion naturally springs up in us. We stop seeing ourselves as separate, lonely beings. We realize that our happiness is linked to the happiness of others. By being kind to others, it's like we're tending the entire garden of which we're a part. By acting aggressively, we poison the soil in which we grow. The third idea: there is no unchanging self. One of the deepest thoughts of the Buddha sounds paradoxical to our mind. We don't have a fixed, unchanging self. When we say, I, who is this? Our body? It changes every day. Our thoughts, they come and go like waves. Our emotions, they flare up and go out. Our experience, it is constantly being rewritten. The Buddha said, "What you call me is just a set of processes. Watch, and you won't find anything permanent. Imagine you're like a river. The river exists, but its water is different every moment. So you seem to be the same person, but you change every second. You don't have to be who they think you are forever. You are not chained to your mistakes of the past. You're not stuck in your weaknesses. You are a process, not a statue. You can change, learn, forgive, and start over. And this is not a hoax. This is the nature of existence itself. When a child takes his first steps, he falls over and over again. But no one tells him, you're clumsy forever. We know it's a process. It's the same with our fears, failures, and pain. The Buddha compared me to a cart made up of many parts. If you disassemble the cart, will the cart disappear? Similarly, our self is a collection of feelings, memories, desires, and thoughts. There is no single entity that remains unchanged when you catch yourself thinking, I am so-and-so. For example, I'm insecure, I'm weak. Stop. Tell yourself, it's a condition, not me. And it can change. The fourth idea: suffering can be overcome. Dukkha and its overcoming. The Buddha began his teaching with an honest confession. Life involves suffering. This does not mean that everything is bad. This means that if you live, you inevitably face losses, pain, and disappointment. We're getting old. Illnesses come uninvited. Relationships end. Dreams come crashing down. It's natural. And that is why the Buddha called the first truth dukkha, dissatisfaction, suffering. But he also showed the way to liberation. Suffering doesn't have to rule your life. Why do we suffer? Because we cling to what is temporary by nature. We want happiness to last forever. We are afraid of losing what we love. We resist change. The suffering is not in the events themselves, but in our attitude towards them. Two people lose their jobs. One falls into despair, seeing this as the end. The other sees this as an opportunity to start a new chapter. The event is the same, but the experiences are different, because suffering is born inside, not outside. The Buddha compared suffering to a wound. If you just get hurt, it hurts, but it's natural. If you touch the wound with dirty hands over and over again, the suffering becomes chronic. That is, we often reinforce our pain with thoughts, fears, and resistance. The Buddha taught there is a way out. He suggested a path of liberation, a path of mindfulness, wisdom, compassion, and detachment. When you feel pain, ask yourself a question. Am I suffering because of the situation or because of how I react to it? Sometimes this realization alone reduces suffering by half. The fifth idea. Mindfulness is the key to happiness. Prajna himself. The Buddha said that one of the greatest human powers is awareness, not willpower, not the amount of knowledge, but the ability to be present here and now. What is mindfulness? This is when you don't just do something automatically, but live the moment, feeling its fullness. You drink coffee and feel the aroma, the warmth of the cup, the taste of every sip. You're talking and really listening, not thinking about what to say in response. You walk down the street and notice not only the route, but also the sky, the wind, the smells. Most of the suffering comes from the fact that we are not in the present. We live in thoughts of the past and experience guilt or resentment, or we live in dreams of the future and experience anxiety or fear. The present is almost always kinder than our fantasies. And only in the present are real joy, love, and wisdom possible. When you eat and think about problems, food turns into fuel. When you eat with mindfulness, food becomes a source of pleasure and gratitude. It's the same with socializing, relaxing, even with work. The Buddha compared the mind to a monkey, jumping from branch to branch. Only when the mind becomes aware does it calm down, like a lake in calm weather, reflecting the world clearly. Why is mindfulness the key to happiness? Because happiness is not hidden in the distant future. It is here, in the breath, in the touch, in the smile, in the moment. And if you learn to notice life for what it is, you no longer miss the wonders that have always been there. A little practice. Stop for 1 minute right now. Feel the breath. Be aware of the sound around you. Notice how your palms and feet feel. This is a real life for a minute. The Buddha did not teach us to seek happiness somewhere outside, in wealth or fame, or even someone else's approval. He opened the way inside, the path to freedom, which does not begin with great deeds, but with a simple, conscious step, with one breath, with one thought of compassion. The 5 ideas we talked about today are not just a philosophy, they are an invitation to live a different life, to see change not as an enemy, but as a part of life, to understand that there is no unchangeable self, which means that we are not stuck in our mistakes. To know that suffering can be overcome by changing your attitude. Discover happiness in every moment through mindfulness, and fill your life with the power of compassion for others and for yourself. The path of the Buddha is the path of a living heart, the path of those who, even stumbling, choose to walk on with their eyes open, the path of those who understand. The deepest freedom is born within ourselves. And the amazing thing is, you don't have to become someone else to walk this path. You just need to become yourself. True, real. Do not seek salvation from the outside. The light is in you. Buddha, thank you for walking this path with me. May your life be filled with awareness, warmth, and inner freedom. If this wisdom resonated with you, write in the comments which of the 5 ideas touched your heart the most.